have CTE for sure. I got a little of that.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another video. This is such a big week. I've got a bunch of videos coming to you guys, and today Shane Gillis made his 13th appearance on JRE, which was recorded just over a week ago on Tuesday, December 5th. Now, for those of you who don't know who he is, basically Shane is probably the best up-and-coming comic at the moment. And when I say up-and-coming, I mean compared to the comedy greats, so that says a lot. He's got 2 comedy specials under his belt, and he also hosts a podcast, which I'll play a clip from a little bit later. But the thing to know about Shane is this. In 2019, he was hired as a featured cast member at SNL, but literally within hours of the announcement, several clips from his podcast suddenly resurfaced, where he used supposedly ethnic and gay slurs, which prompted SNL to fire him a few days later, even though he apologized that same day the clips resurfaced and caused a stir. So then fast forward to July of 2021, Shane made his first appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience, which we'll take a look at towards the end of this video. But here's the thing, right? Gillis is probably one of the least offensive, funniest comedians going around today. Joe Rogan, on the other hand, is probably one of the worst famous comedians in history, right next to Bert Kreischer and Brendan Schaub, obviously 2 of his creations. So when Shane first went on JRE, Rogan completely misread his style of humor, and it made for an incredibly awkward but entertaining episode. Now, as for today's show, you can really see how far both Shane and Rogan have come together. If you're a JRE listener, you'll have noticed a few things that have been getting worse over the course of this year. For example, Rogan's incessant rants about the importance of ice baths, saunas, vitamins, and working out. So now that Shane Gillis is a card-carrying member of the Brogan universe, Joe's got him into working out at his studio with a few other, less talented hack comedian buddies of his on the regular. They even got The Rock in on the action a couple of weeks ago. And so this episode with Shane started off with the same boring conversation about working out, taking vitamins, and eating healthy. But now that Shane's settled in a little bit more, he's becoming a pro at steering the conversation in the right direction, effortlessly dropping zingers here and there to stop Rogan from going into autopilot. Check it out.
Bro, how fun are these workouts? Changes your day, right?
Yeah, it makes the day better. I don't know. I literally don't know how you do this.
What do you mean?
You're like, oh, you're gonna feel so good, dude. I get to the club, I'm literally falling asleep. I'm sore.
You gotta start taking vitamins.
I take some vitamins.
Do you?
Yeah.
What are you taking?
Take vitamin B.
Yeah. Okay.
D.
Okay.
Pause. C.
Okay.
Take some zinc.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
What, you getting like a multivitamin?
Yeah, whatever the CVS things is.
Oh, okay.
Those yellow. You know what I'm talking about?
It's probably been on the shelf since the 70s.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing anything. I heard zinc makes you come harder. I haven't noticed a big result, but
zinc is difficult to get into your bloodstream. You need an ionophore. If you're going to take zinc, you need something. Quercetin.
I need an ionophore.
Yeah, ionophore is super important.
I'm not close to worrying about it like that. I'm working on like bread.
Bread's bread.
Tough, dude. I'll worry about ionophores in a couple years.
Bread's tough.
So after Rogan got through his daily Brogan talking points that we've all heard a million times, he moved on to his latest obsession, protein waffles.
I did find some protein waffles. What are they called? Is it Viking waffles? See if you find that.
And so after Jamie received his instructions and pulled it up, Rogan shared his newfound passion for protein waffles. Sorry, I can't say it without laughing. But as you can imagine, Shane was completely uninterested in Rogan's waffles and took the conversation in a slightly different direction.
21 grams of protein, 3 grams of sugar, 5 grams of carbs, 200 calories. Look at that. And they're good. They can taste like a real waffle.
People love Vikings.
Who doesn't love Vikings?
Irish people?
The people that were out on the shore
for 500 years.
Bro, they've fucked everybody up forever.
Yeah.
They're the reason why the people in Iceland are so good at strongman competitions. You know, those guys like the mountain from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, there's freaks.
Where do you think that those genes come from?
Yeah, they need an eruption up there. We need to get rid of these guys.
A little bit of a volcano.
We can't have these guys. This is my Irish ancestry coming through. We got to get rid of these
Now, just before we go on, there's something else you should know about Shane Gillis. Don't be deceived by his big dorky appearance. He's a massive bookworm who loves to study history and point out all the funny contradictions from wars and various seminal moments throughout history. So when Rogan started talking about Vikings, Shane couldn't help but call him out on something that Rogan has been peddling for years, which turns out to be almost completely false.
That show Vikings, you ever watch that show?
No, I heard it's great.
F***ing great.
I was afraid it was going to be like, because they did like women.
Oh, they kill everybody.
All right, good.
Everybody.
No,
gets
I mean
slaughtered.
like the badass kick-ass woman characters. Do they have that?
They have a couple.
That
but-
usually takes me out of a.
No, they're realistic.
Okay.
I mean, they're not like f***ing up all the dudes or anything like
Yeah.
that.
The old Conor McGregor woman.
But then
I don't love it.
they announced a sequel. Is the girl in this? Oh, it's Netflix.
And the armor takes me out of it. It looks.
Why?
It's a little too Game of Thrones. You know, show what a real Viking looked like.
What did they really look like?
It looked like shit, dude. They were like 5, 6. They were not these giant.
Well, how the f does the mountain come from? Where does he come from then?
They.
How do you get
I
a
think they were wearing
7 foot
like
tall,
felt
350 pound
shirts.
dude?
They looked like dead.
That's
Look
what
at
they
that.
really
They look
look
like
like?
hobbits, dude.
What is that? That's.
I
Not
mean,
real.
that's not them, but
That's not real.
Oh man, the amount of times I've heard Rogan wax lyrical about these ancient giant Vikings with supernatural strength and how they have superior genetics, and it must have been something in their water or whatever. Well, it turns out that it was just a myth and the stuff of legend. And when Jamie started pulling up facts, Rogan wasn't very happy that his bubble had been burst. I mean, what's next? Santa isn't real? Shh, don't tell him.
As for the male warrior caricature, historians doubt they actually wore cartoonish horned helmets in battle. Oh, come on.
I know, man.
In fact, only one preserved Viking helmet has materialized in Scandinavia, and it was horn-free. Only one? Which appeared with the sole surviving helmet. One fucking suit of chainmail and one helmet. This was likely worn exclusively by elites and professional warriors despite its common appearance in mainstream depictions.
But what I really want to emphasize here for you guys is how far Shane Gillis has come in his appearances on JRE and how he's well and truly developing into an elite podcast guest. Now, if you think that sounds cringy, let me explain. As all my regulars already know, the whole Rogan podcast universe is one big circle jerk. They go around having the same conversations on each other's podcasts so they can throw in 200 ad reads in every single episode and get their bag. So when someone like Shane came along, he became somewhat of a statistical anomaly on the podcast circuit. Not only is he a completely normal, unpretentious dude, but he's also deceivingly intelligent. Watch how he continues to steer the conversation in the right direction through his witty sense of humor and saves us from Rogan's long, drawn-out dribble. Oh, this one's good.
They just keep making him so cool.
Yeah, they make them real cool. And they're a bunch of murderers, and you like them.
Yeah, I don't cheer for him.
No?
No, I don't like the Vikings.
Because of your culture.
Because of my
Yeah,
cultural.
that's
No, they're just. I think they're overrated.
Really?
Yeah.
Overrated.
Everything about them's rumors. They're like, oh, they discovered America first. It's like, no.
I think they
Yeah,
did.
dude, you got to give Columbus his due.
Columbus gets no due.
Everybody hates Columbus.
He's a sucker.
Bro.
Bro, did you ever read that one?
Bro. He
One.
did it, dude.
He didn't even. He landed in the
did it.
Bahamas.
Who cares?
Did you?
That's crazy. He did that.
Did you ever hear that one? There's one priest that traveled with Columbus that wrote those horrific stories of what they did to the Native Americans.
Snitch. Snitch. Guys, you're not allowed to go wild. You cross the ocean, you're going wild.
So I should say, believe it or not, I'm actually a big fan of Podcast Joe, but after over 5,000 hours of podcasting for more than a decade, he's starting to get a little stale and repetitive. But to give him credit, in this latest episode with Shane Gillis, you can tell he's a lot lighter, he seems happier and more easygoing, and I'm glad that Shane's able to bring that out of him, which made for a pretty decent episode. I mean, I really enjoyed it. They spoke about everything from gypsies to whacking off, to athletes, movies, God and the universe, and heaps of other weird and wacky stories. This was my kind of podcast, but then they got into the phenomenon of Taylor Swift, which led them into Kanye.
Is there a male act that's even close?
No. Kanye probably before all that went down.
I don't think he
No,
was
he was not
close.
that big. No, but she wasn't that big back then either, right?
Yeah.
Like when
But he made
stepped-
that big famous.
Oh my God, he did. He fucked up.
I made that famous.
He did.
He rules.
He does rule. He does rule. He says a lot of wild shit.
He's having fun.
I hope so.
Well, no.
I bet his new album's going to be a banger.
Yeah.
You push that dude, but you push that dude in a corner, I bet he comes out swinging. I bet this new shit is a banger.
Yeah, he's the best.
Isn't he in like Saudi Arabia or something recording it?
He was. I know he was definitely in Italy getting his sucked on a boat for a little
bit of that.
And then,
but then he was in
Japan or
recording at least part of it.
He might
in
be
the Middle
Sasuke
East.
or whatever that guy's name was. I think he's in Japan.
All right, I just had flashbacks to this moment here.
If I get fired here, whatever, I'll just go do Joe Rogan next week and I'll be fine. Anyway, I thought that was funny. No?
What?
I was like, I
Is that what
literally
you thought?
I literally thought that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought it'd be funny.
Well, it could have been funny.
Yeah.
I was booked up though.
No, it's fine. It was just funny to truly. That was a conversation I actually had.
Really?
In Lorne Michaels' office in the middle of that.
That's hilarious.
So that clip from Shane's first JRE appearance went absolutely viral and haunted him for months. I'll come back to that and give you the full context in a moment, but that little jab that Shane threw about Kanye getting a missile hickey on a boat in Italy went straight over Rogan's head. A couple of months ago, Kanye and his Aussie girlfriend Bianca were busted by paparazzi after she was photographed giving him a mouth hug on a boat in Venice. They actually ended up getting banned from the boat rental company, and the photos of her giving mouth to South Resuscitation made it all over the world. But it was just funny that Rogan clearly had no idea what he was talking about and brushed it off in his signature style. When this happened the first time on their first podcast together, it really bothered Shane. He beat himself up about it so bad, and he actually brought it up twice after it happened in the same podcast. For those of you who don't know, Shane was joking about when he was fired by SNL, like I said at the beginning, saying it didn't matter because he'd just go on JRE and get that Rogan bump, which would effectively save his comedy career. In hindsight, he obviously didn't need it, but like we saw before, it didn't click for Joe and he left Shane hanging. Super awkward. But like I said, Shane brought it up twice after that, just before the first hour mark and then again after the second hour. Clearly, it was bothering him.
One more.
One more. I'm going to have 4 more after that. Said I was going to do your podcast joke.
Oh, sorry about that. I wasn't sure. I thought that was
dude,
going
that thing's
somewhere
been
else.
in my head for 5 minutes or however long it's been. You know,
That?
Saving
Really?
Private Ryan when he gets the ringing in his ears?
I thought there was more to it. I was just like letting it hang there in the air. I wasn't.
I like felt my face go flush. I was like, oh, I blew it. Dude, go back and watch the tape on that. That's going to be rough.
Well, I'm sorry I didn't give you enough.
No,
I was just
thought
hanging there.
It was just funny how confident I was at the time.
Really
Myself, dude, I f***ed up. 5, 6 drinks. I blew it, dude. This is my big opportunity.
Have some more whiskey. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll get confident. It's the last thing this podcast needs.
You're not confident yet? You should be
I'm
confident.
getting there. I'm pretty good.
Pretty
right
good.
now.
Should be confident.
I really do want to. I mean, that part, that SNL part was great. There's one moment where I was like, and then I was like, I'll just go on Joe Rogan. And you were like, what?
I was waiting for more.
I know. But
I should have helped you there.
Dude, you should have seen my face just like, like it was fully like.
That was my failure as much as yours. I thought about having you on, and I thought about like me even rescheduling people, but I was like this guy's just got to go through this.
And so even after he kept bringing it up and Rogan apologized and seemed generally bummed out that he didn't get what he meant straight away, Shane brought it up and tried to clear the air again on his own podcast afterwards and had a good little laugh about it.
And then everyone would see that I'm actually great.
I'm going to try it. Oh, just f***ing kill me.
Dude.
Kill me right now.
Nightmare.
Yeah, I bombed on there, and that was bad, dude. That was
Yeah.
cutting our heads off.
Yeah.
I wish someone would have cut my head off
Came down.
right then, dude.
And that was early in the
I
episode.
wish
too.
Jamie
What was
would
that,
have
30 minutes in?
Red face, just like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
It is
You know,
great. Doesn't he still not get the joke?
He gets it.
He gets it now?
Yeah, he understood it then. He thought. I mean, there is a part of the joke where there's something underlying it. If it was about you, you'd be like, "You're accusing me of not helping you." That's the part he took from it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But the joke was I was arrogant and stupid, and I was like, I'll just go on Rogan. I don't give a he's definitely gonna have me on.
He's like, wait, what?
And he was like, who are you?
Look, I actually liked the fact that Shane was so hung up on that whole episode. For most of us watching, we could see that he was just trying to have a laugh or whatever, say something funny. And the fact that he felt so stupid afterwards just goes to show how down to earth he is. I mean, compare that to the collection of stupid things that Bert Kreischer has said on JRE, or just in general. And I know I sing Shane's praises a lot, but I really think he's an important part of the podcasting universe at the moment, in a similar way to how Theo Von and Tim Dillon carried the space for so long. You can already see how all the Brogan comedy brats are latching on to Shane Gillis, getting him on their podcast as often as possible. And I know this is a big call, so wait for it. At this point, I think Rogan needs Gillis more than Gillis needs Rogan. Ooh, here we go. Let me explain. I've said this before about Bill Burr and Dave Chappelle, and there are a few other guests as well in this category, but particularly those two who are comedians. Whenever they go on JRE, it's an open and relaxed discussion, and Rogan opens up and he seems to have a good time, and they're the best episodes. But I think the reason is that Rogan respects those guys because they give him comedy legitimacy. And that's what Rogan's about these days. He's got the comedy club, he's putting on more and more comedians onto JRE, he's moving into legacy mode, and it seems like stand-up comedy is where his heart lies. So for me, I kind of feel like Gillis is turning into a Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle style of comedian guest that gives Rogan legitimacy. And the dead giveaway is the way that they don't always agree with him on everything, and they can push back comfortably, kind of like a real conversation between two normal people, Compare that to, say, Brendan Schaub, for example, who'll say one thing, and then when Rogan disagrees, Bupper will immediately agree with Rogan 100%. So that's what I mean when I say Rogan needs Gillis more than Gillis needs him, because Shane's profile is rising so quickly that it almost makes up for all the Brogan comedy brats that we've had to put up with, and I think Rogan knows that. But anyway, I know it seems like I've been fangirling over Gillis lately, but I think that's just more of a reflection of how bad podcasting has become when a funny, down-to-earth comedian becomes such hot property. Anyway, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Drop a comment below, let me know what you think about all of this, and if you haven't subscribed yet, consider jumping on board so you get all of my uploads right there in your feed. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.
We out of beers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we should probably wrap this up anyway. We got to get out of here.
All right.